Chapter 1, Prologue. Hi, duelists! It's me, Yugi!
And the one and only Joey Wheeler. Today, we're hosting a special program for everyone watching this DVD.
We're gonna tell you how to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game. It's my favorite game, and I know it'll be yours, too!
Yeah, and if you perfect all the techniques in this DVD, you'll be a master duelist, like yours truly, right, Yug?
You're a master duelist?
What? You don't think I can duel?
I'm only kidding. Of course you can duel. Joey wasn't much of a duelist until he learned all these techniques, and now he's one of the best duelists in the world.
Hey, you're embarrassing me. You don't have to lay it on so thick, even though it's true.
This Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game Duel Master's Guide will explain everything you need to know so that you can jump right into your very first duel. All right, let me give you the basics of the game. The object of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game is to win a match against your opponent. Each card battle against an opponent which determines a win or loss is called a duel. A match consists of 3 duels. The player who's the first to win 2 duels, or who has 1 win and 2 draws in a match, is declared the winner of the match, which means the player's the winner of the game.
Right. However, if the result of the 3 duels is 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw, or 3 draws, then the match itself ends in a draw.
Each player begins a duel with 8,000 life points. The life points gradually decrease due to the amount of damage you get from battle. If your opponent's life points are reduced to 0, you're the winner of the duel. It's also important to remember that if both you and your opponent's life points reach 0 at the same time, the duel ends in a draw.
You can't draw a card when you need to because you've run out of cards in the deck, you lose the duel. Be careful.
In addition, if you have all 5 Exodia cards in your hand at any time during the duel, you instantly win the duel.
So far, we only explained the basic rules.
Right. Now, we're going to delve into more detail in each chapter.
Chapter 2, Preparation. To begin a duel, you need a deck containing a minimum of 40 cards. The set of cards you use in the duel is called the deck. The deck must contain at least 40 cards. Aside from this minimum limit, your deck can contain as many cards as you like. Also, you can have 15 additional cards in a separate pile. This is called the side deck. Between duels, you can exchange any card in your deck for any card in your side deck. But after exchanging the cards, you must have the same number of cards in your deck. This means the number of cards in the side deck must always be 15. You're allowed a maximum total of 3 copies of the same card in your deck and side deck combined. Also, in your combined deck and side deck, you can only have 1 copy of each limited card and 2 copies of each semi-limited card. To get the most recent information regarding the limited card list, tournaments, and much, much more, you can visit www.yugio-card.com. Check it out! Next, I'll explain the game mat. This field is where you place the cards and battle with them. The half of the field nearest you is your side of the field. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty. Deck zone. Your deck is placed face down here. At the beginning of your turn, you draw 1 card from here. Monster card zone. This is the zone where you place a monster card. You can only have a maximum of 5 monster cards in the monster card zone at the same time. Spell and trap card zone. This is the place you can use spell and trap cards. You can only have a maximum of 5 cards in the spell and trap card zone at the same time. Field card zone. A field spell card is a special kind of spell card that can only be played here. Some examples of field spell cards are Yami and Sogen. Fusion deck zone. If you use fusion monster cards, put your fusion deck here. The fusion deck consists of a group of fusion monster cards. The fusion deck is always kept separate from the deck. Remember, the cards that make up the fusion deck are not counted towards the 40-card limit of the deck. Graveyard. This is the zone where you put destroyed monster cards and used spell and trap cards.
Chapter 3, Card Details. To make a strong deck, you need to know all about the features of the cards. There are 3 main card types. They are monster cards, spell cards, and trap cards. To win a duel, you must construct a deck that's well balanced with these 3 types of cards. And you have to use them efficiently. Let's take a closer look at these cards so that you can develop your strategy. Monster cards. Monster cards are the main cards during a battle. The role of a monster card is to destroy your opponent's monster and reduce your opponent's life points. Of course, monster cards with higher attack points or defense points make a more devastating impact. Remember, you can only place 1 monster on the field per turn. There are various kinds of monsters, each with different features, so using them efficiently at the right time is the difference between victory and defeat. Normal monster cards. These are the basic monster cards. Some of them are really powerful. Effect monster cards. These monster cards have various effects. Even when compared to the effects of spell cards and trap cards, many effect monster cards have useful effects. An effect monster with low attack points and defense points can sometimes take an important role during the duel. Fusion monster cards. These monster cards are summoned by using 2 or more fusion material monsters, along with a spell card such as polymerization. Check the rulebook to learn how to summon fusion monsters. Ritual monster cards. You can summon this special monster onto the field only when you fulfill the specific requirements by having the designated ritual spell card and the monster cards as a tribute. Check the rulebook to learn how to summon ritual monsters. Next, I'll explain the information shown on each card. Attack points and defense points. Attack points and defense points are the numbers used to judge the result of a battle between monsters. When the card is in attack position, the attack points are applied. When the card is in defense position, the defense points are applied. Level. Level indicates the strength of a monster. In general, the higher level monsters with lots of stars are stronger. Type. Type shows the feature of a monster. There are 20 different types. You need to pay careful attention to the type because types are affected by specific spell cards. Attribute. There are 6 different attributes. In addition to the type, you also have to pay special attention to the attribute because some spell cards are applied to a specific attribute. Spell cards. Spell cards have various effects, such as increasing your monster's attack points or defense points, destroying your opponent's monster, controlling your opponent's monster, restoring a monster from the graveyard, and much, much more. Keep in mind that usually you can only use a spell card during your turn. Besides normal spell cards, there are continuous spell cards, equip spell cards, field spell cards, quick play spell cards, and ritual spell cards. If you check the icon on the cards, you can easily distinguish what kind of spell card it is. For more details, check out the rulebook. Trap cards. You must set trap cards face down on the field, and you can activate them after the start of your opponent's turn. The effects of trap cards are very similar to spell cards, but one different feature of trap cards is that if the timing's right, you can activate them even on your opponent's turn. In most cases, trap cards are the cards that can help you out when you are really in trouble. Besides normal trap cards, there are 2 other types of trap cards: continuous trap cards and counter trap cards. Check the rulebook for details. Is everything clear so far? Now, let's develop strategies that reflect your dueling style to create your own personal, powerful deck. Chapter 4, Phases of Gameplay. Well, Joey, how about we start dueling?
All right, but first we have to prepare for the duel. In the beginning, don't forget to say hello to your opponent and shake hands. Next, shuffle your deck thoroughly and hand it to your opponent. After you receive your opponent's deck, shuffle it a bit. This is called the cut. After the cut, return the decks to each other. Now you have your deck back. Put your deck onto the deck zone in the game mat. If you use a Fusion Monster deck, place it face down on the Fusion deck zone. Next, show your opponent that your side deck has exactly 15 cards. Count the cards face down. Okay, now decide who goes first with a coin toss, or rock, paper, scissors. The winner of the coin toss gets to choose whether to go first or second. For later duels in the match, the loser of the previous duel decides who starts first. Both players draw 5 cards from the top of their own decks. These 5 cards are the first cards in your hand.
Draw phase. In this phase, you draw 1 card per turn from the top of your own deck.
Standby phase. If there are any cards in the field that specifically state that certain actions must be taken during this phase, these must be dealt with here. If there is no such card, then let's move on to Main Phase 1.
Main Phase 1. During this phase, from your hand, you can normal summon or set a monster card, activate and set spell cards, and set trap cards. Normal summon or set a monster. First off, let me explain the monster cards. There are only 2 ways to place a monster card onto the field from your hand during your turn. One way is called a normal summon, and the other is called a set. Placing a monster in face-up attack position from your hand is called a normal summon. Placing a monster in face-down defense position from your hand is called a set. When you normal summon a monster, put the monster card in your hand onto the field face-up and vertically. This indicates that the monster card is in attack position. When you set a monster, put the monster card in your hand onto the field face down and horizontally. The monster card is in defense position. During your turn, you can only place 1 monster in your hand onto the field. So, during the same turn, you cannot set a monster after you normal summoned a monster, and vice versa. Remember, you cannot change the battle position of a monster during the same turn in which it was summoned or set. When you normal summon or set a high-level monster, you have to send 1 or more monsters on the field to the graveyard as a tribute. You can normal summon or set a monster whose level is 4 or lower directly from your hand. However, for a monster that is level 5 or 6, you must offer 1 monster. For a monster that is level 7 or higher, you must offer 2 monsters from your side of the field as a tribute. In other words, you cannot normal summon or set a powerful high-level monster from your hand right off the bat. You can change the battle position of monster cards you placed on the field during previous turns. But remember, you can't change the battle position of monsters that have already attacked during the same turn. There are 2 other ways to summon a monster onto the field: flip summon and special summon. Check out the rulebook for specifics. One last thing. You can't flip your monster face down again once it becomes face up due to a flip summon, your opponent's attack, or another card's effect. Activate or set spell cards or set trap cards. During the main phase of your turn, you can activate or set spell cards or set trap cards. When you activate a spell or trap card, put the card face up in the spell and trap card zone. To set a spell card or trap card, put the card face down in the spell and trap card zone. You can activate a spell card directly from your hand during your turn, but you must set a trap card on the field. You can activate trap cards after the start of your opponent's next turn. After you activate and resolve the effect of spell or trap cards, these cards are destroyed and sent to the graveyard. For example, if I activate the spell card Monster Reborn, I can special summon one monster to the field from either player's graveyard. After I resolve this effect, I place the Monster Reborn spell card in my graveyard. The cards with equip or continuous icons remain on the field after you activate them until they are destroyed. Also, remember that usually, if you set a spell card on the field, you cannot activate it during your opponent's turn. Unlike monster cards, you can activate or set spell cards and trap cards as long as you have an extra space on the spell and trap card zone. However, you are unable to activate or set cards when the spell and trap card zone is filled with 5 cards. One last important thing to remember. Field spell cards can only be used on the field card zone. The field spell card is not included in the 5-card limit of the spell and trap card zone. Only one active field spell card can exist on the entire field. If your opponent activates a new field spell card, your active field spell card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Also, if your active field spell card is on the field, you cannot activate or set a new field spell card.
Battle Phase. After main phase 1, you can battle against your opponent using your attack position monsters. This is called the Battle Phase. Each of your monsters in attack position can attack once during each of your turns. However, you do not have to conduct your battle phase if you don't want to. Depending on the situation, you can choose whether to attack or not. The starting player cannot conduct the battle phase during his or her first turn, but he or she can attack during the second turn. During the same turn, you can attack with as many monsters as you have in attack position on your side of the field. But you don't have to make all your monsters attack. You can decide which monsters to attack with depending on the situation. If there is a monster on your opponent's side of the field, your attack's target is that monster. Usually, you cannot attack your opponent's life points directly as long as there are any monsters on your opponent's side of the field. If there are no monsters on your opponent's side of the field, you can damage your opponent's life points directly. The target of each of your attacking monsters is only one monster or one player. This means one monster cannot attack multiple targets. We'll give you more details about the battle phase in the next chapter.
Main Phase 2. In Main Phase 2, you can basically do the same things as in Main Phase 1. Once per turn, you can normal summon or set one monster and can change the battle position of your monsters that are on the field. However, keep in mind that you cannot change the battle position of monsters that have already attacked during this turn.
End Phase. In this phase, announce the end of your turn to your opponent. If you have more than 6 cards in your hand, discard cards to the graveyard until only 6 cards remain in your hand.
End of the duel. Each player alternately repeats the process from the draw phase to the end phase. When one player's life points reach 0, or when one player cannot draw a card, the winner is decided.
That's the end of the duel. Chapter 5, Battle and Damage. Here we're going to explain more about the battle phase. The battle phase is conducted as follows.
One, start step. Declare that you're entering the battle phase.
2, battle step. Select and announce which of your monsters you'll be attacking with. Next, select one of your opponent's monsters as the target of your attacking monster. If you would like to attack with another of your attacking monsters, repeat this process after each attack resolves. If there are no monsters on your opponent's side of the field, the target of the attack will be your opponent's life points.
3, damage step. When you attack a face-down monster, flip it face up so that you can check its card data. The monster flipped face up remains face up on the field unless it's destroyed. If there are any effects, such as flip effects, calculate the damage first and resolve the effects at the end of this step. Damage calculation. When your opponent's monster is in attack position, compare the attack points of both monsters. When your attacking monster's attack points are higher than the attack points of your opponent's monster is destroyed. Subtract the attack points of your opponent's monster from the attack points of your attacking monster, and deduct the difference from your opponent's life points. When your attacking monster's attack points are equal to the attack points of your opponent's monster, neither player takes damage, but both monsters are destroyed. When your attacking monster's attack points are lower than the attack points of your opponent's monster, your monster is destroyed. Subtract the attack points of your attacking monster from the attack points of your opponent's monster and deduct the difference from your life points. When your opponent's monster is in defense position, compare the attack points of your attacking monster and the defense points of your opponent's monster. When your attacking monster's attack points are higher than the defense points of your opponent's monster is destroyed, but no damage is dealt to your opponent's life points. When your attacking monster's attack points are equal to the defense points of your opponent's monster, neither player takes damage, and neither monster is destroyed. When your attacking monster's attack points are lower than the defense points of your opponent's monster, neither monster is destroyed. Subtract the attack points of your attacking monster from the defense points of your opponent's monster, and deduct the difference from your life points. When there are no monsters in your opponent's side of the field, your attacking monster's attack points are deducted from your opponent's life points as direct damage.
4. End step. Repeat the battle step and damage step as many times as you want until you don't have another monster to attack with. Announce the end of the battle phase to your opponent.
Is everything we've talked about so far clear? We've explained the flow of a duel, but the best way to learn more is to actually play a duel.
Chapter 6, Sample Duel. Now let's watch an actual duel. You can watch this demo duel from multiple angles, including from each player's point of view. Therefore, the more times you watch this demo, the more you'll learn. First, say hello and shake hands. Alrighty then. Shuffle your deck so that your cards are mixed really well. The last thing you want is to end up with a bunch of the same cards in your hand. Now, cut your opponent's deck. I hope you all remembered this part, because it's important. And place your deck in the deck zone. Next, they're gonna flip a coin to see who goes first. Yugi calls heads, and he's right. Okay, Yugi decides to go first. They draw 5 cards from their decks and begin the duel. Each player starts with 8,000 life points. Yugi draws the first card. Ah, it's Silver Fang. Looks like Yugi is taking a wait-and-see approach. Whoa! Kaiba summoned La Jin and attacked Silver Fang. It's only Kaiba's first turn and Yugi's already lost life points. Yugi sets a monster. Man, I've never seen him so cautious. Wow, that's Okazi. That spell card inflicts 800 points of damage. At this rate, this duel will be over in no time. Kaiba ain't letting up. He summons Battle Ox and attacks. Say bye-bye to Beaver Warrior. Now Kaiba can attack Yugi's life points directly. Yugi sets another monster. Whoa, but this time he also sets a trap. What's he up to? Kaiba attacks Yugi's face-down monster. But too bad for him, it's Giant Soldier of Stone. Oh, and what a slap in the face. Yugi activates his trap card, Castle Walls, to inflict more damage. It's Kaiba's turn to set something. Knowing him, it's gonna be something bad. Yeah, Fisher! With that spell card, Yugi destroys Kaiba's weakest monster on the field. Is Yugi gonna finally attack? Nah, I guess not. He just set another monster again. Why is he doing that? Uh-oh, just desserts. Yugi takes 500 points of damage for each of his monsters for a total of 1,000 points. Your life points are down to 3,800 already, Yug. Now what's Kaiba gonna do? He summons Rogue Doll. But I guess he's not attacking because it's not strong enough to destroy Giant Soldier of Stone, and he doesn't know what that face-down monster could be. Oh, it was Man-Eater Bug, one of those effect monster cards. Yugi used it to destroy La Jin, and now he's offering it as a tribute to Summon Skull! What an awesome combo! Now Yugi's got the strongest monster on the field. Yugi switches Giant Soldier of Stone from defense position to attack position. It's about time Yugi started launching a serious offensive. Yugi takes out Rogue Doll with his Summon Skull, leaving Kaiba wide open for attack by Giant Soldier of Stone. And he also uses Diane Keto to restore his life points by 1,000. Check it out! The life points of both players are now about the same. All right, so far it's almost tied. It's still anybody's game. I can't wait to see what happens next. All right, here we go. I think Kaiba's starting to feel the heat. He sets a monster. Looks like the tide's turning, but Yugi still can't afford to make the slightest mistake. Yugi plays the field spell card Yami, increasing the attack points and defense points of his Fiend and Spellcaster-type monsters, such as his Summon Skull, by 200. Hitotsume Giant isn't strong enough to withstand that attack. And now, with direct damage, Yugi takes the lead. Kaiba looks like he's really struggling now. He sets another monster. Yugi attacks with his Summon Skull. Wow! Hane Hane! Whew! Kaiba got out of that jam. Hane Hane is an effect monster that bounces one monster back to its owner's hand. No way! It's the spell card, Dark Hole. It destroys all monsters on the field, so Yugi loses his Summon Skull and he's wide open for direct damage. Lord of D! And the Flute of Summoning Dragon. With that combo, Kaiba special summons his mighty Blue Eyes White Dragon. His deck's gonna totally trash Yug into tiny chunks. Yug, check out your life points. You only have 400 points left. But if I know Yugi, he won't give up until the very end. Yugi sets 2 cards. And oh, sets a monster card in defense position. Kaiba summons a monster, and Yugi destroys it with Trap Hole. Kaiba attacks with his Blue Eyes. But Yugi activates Waboku to prevent his monster from being destroyed. Man, I can't believe Yugi managed to make it through the turn. Can Yugi stage a counterattack? Change of heart. That gives him control of one of Kaiba's monsters. He's offering them as a tribute to summon... Yeah! Dark Magician! Yugi finally summoned the most powerful monster in his deck, but Kaiba's Blue Eyes still has higher attack points. What are you gonna do, Yug? Kaiba attacks with his Blue Eyes. Reinforcements! Who knew he had that card? Combined with Yami's attack boost, Dark Magician defeats Blue Eyes. And there's the final blow. That's the game and the end of the duel. This time, the Yugi deck won the duel, but the Kaiba deck was also pretty powerful. How would you have dueled with these decks if you were in Yugi or Kaiba's shoes? Think about what strategies you would have pulled before referring to this demo duel again.
Chapter 7. More details and epilogue. In this chapter, we're going to let you in on some secret information that I guarantee will help you in your duels. I'll teach you how to construct a deck that'll work to your advantage. First, your chances of drawing an important card increase if you keep the number of cards in your deck close to 40. Of course, you're allowed to have as many cards as you want in your deck, as long as there are at least 40 cards. However, you will have strategic disadvantages if there are too many cards in your deck. Also, you should keep the ratio of monster cards to spell and trap cards at 50-50. It's difficult to duel if there are too many monster cards or if there are too many spell and trap cards. It's important to make a well-balanced deck. When thinking about the balance of the deck, there are some cards you really should include. They can make it easier for you to duel against your opponent. One example is effect monster cards. They're monsters, but they have functions similar to spell and trap cards. I'm sure these effect monster cards have various effects that'll help you in your duels. Check the data on each card to learn more. Other useful cards are those that increase the number of cards in your hand at times other than the draw phase, such as Pot of Greed. If you include these cards in your deck, your dueling strategies will flow more smoothly. One more thing to consider is the number of high-level monster cards in your deck. If you have too few low-level monsters, you'll often find it difficult to summon a high-level monster during crucial stages of the duel. I'm sure the high attack points of these high-level monsters attract you, but you won't be able to win if you only use high-level monsters. Try to include as few high-level monsters as possible when constructing your deck. Second, I'm going to tell you about the technique of combining cards to duel effectively, otherwise known as combos. The Raigeki and Monster Reborn combo. This combo is very effective when a high-level monster is summoned on your opponent's side of the field. First, activate Raigeki. This spell card can destroy all your opponent's monsters and send them to the graveyard all at once. Second, activate Monster Reborn right after. This spell card enables you to select one monster from your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard and special summon it on your side of the field. Here's the trick. You can special summon the monster from your opponent's graveyard as your own monster. Since there are no monsters on your opponent's side of the field, you can inflict huge battle damage to your opponent's life points using his or her own powerful monster. The Change of Heart and High-Level Monster Combo. You should definitely try this combo if you have both Change of Heart and any high-level monster in your hand. First, activate the spell card Change of Heart to take control of one monster on your opponent's side of the field. This monster will be returned to your opponent's side of the field at the end of the turn. So let's offer this monster as a tribute to summon your high-level monster. Now there are no more monsters on your opponent's side of the field, while only your high-level monster remains on the field. As a bonus, the monster you took control of with Change of Heart will not be returned to your opponent's side of the field. The Man-Eater Bug and High-Level Monster Combo. Man-Eater Bug can destroy one monster on the field when it is flipped from face down to face up. This effect comes in very handy. First, set Man-Eater Bug on your side of the field. On your next turn, you can offer this Man-Eater Bug as a tribute to summon your high-level monster. However, before you offer the Man-Eater Bug as a tribute, flip it face up to destroy one monster on the field. After destroying one monster on your opponent's side of the field, summon your high-level monster by offering the face-up Man-Eater Bug as a tribute. That's it for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game Duel Masters Guide.
Well, it's time to wrap up this Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game Duel Masters Guide. I know that you not only found out how fun and cool it is to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading Card Game, but you also picked up a few new tricks along the way. But the best part is, if you still have some questions on the rules or a certain card, you can watch this Duel Masters Guide again.
Yup, you can look up topics by chapter to refresh your memory about the basic rules, preparation for a duel, card details, phases of gameplay, battle damage, and special dueling combos and tips.
And don't forget the sample duel. Make sure you watch it from all the different angles so you can learn all the strategies that go into a duel.
Your dueling skills have already improved just by watching this guide.
But don't let your guard down. You should get more booster packs or exchange cards with your friends to enhance your deck.
Right. Also, collecting cards is lots of fun. The more you play this game with your friends, the more fun you'll have.
No doubt about it, Yugi. And make sure to check the rulebook and website to learn more about the rules. I'm telling you, it's a long road to become a champion duelist.
Definitely. But the only way to get better is to keep playing.
And then no one will stand in my way, including you, Yugi.
I don't think so. There's no way I'm letting you beat me.
Oh, yeah? Then take out your deck and let's see who's better. Unless you're too scared to face me.
Scared of you, Joey? Never.
Then let's get started.
It's time to duel!